Well, what we have here is the typical situation between a customer and a service provider. The Cheshire Cat is the service provider, and Alice is the customer. And Alice wants to know which is the road she should take, but she doesn't really know where she wants to go. So the service provider cannot help her at all. So based on that, our objectives today are to steer away from the tradition that is most popular of perfunctory requirements gathering. We can use our understanding of the risks poor requirements elicitation brings to a project, identify risks with regard to product and project characteristics, state requirement activities that match that risk criteria, and select a requirements life cycle to match the product risk and the project schedule. So we'll get started by first introducing the reasons to get it right. It's really telling that this is not my first webinar, it's around my fifth, I would say. And usually at this point in time, we have like 230 to 300 attendees. And maybe it was my fault and it wasn't a nice name for the seminar. But I think the word requirements doesn't really ring as something that we the techies need to do. Well, I would say that 10,000 reasons to get it right, it has a huge impact, huge impact. It's been well known for over 30 years, and it's really interesting to see how many diverse voices have said that the best thing you can do to improve your processes is get the requirements right. And as you can see by the attendees, there is little expertise, and people are a little bit shy of requirements techniques. And this is wrong because the most important factor here is that we're losing money. We're leaving money on the table. People tend to say that they get the validation out of the picture right at the beginning because they get the requirements right. But requirements change, the users express what they need, but they don't really know it. So what we've taken for granted when we show them what we've built is completely different of their expectations. There are changes to the environment that produce changes to their needs. If the technology is not new, they probably articulate their needs in such a way that they're trying to bridge the gap between technical people and their business, and they're trying to do it through their own understanding of technology. They might even interpret things different from developers. It's rarely the case that we have the same cultures, and basically what we find is that the way they use words or they expect things to happen are different from technical people to business people. When we use some prototyping tools and we show them what is it that could be done, they get over-enthusiastic and they think we already have a product, for example. It could be many, many different things that mislead the communication process and take us to build the wrong product. And the one that I tend to underscore the most is that many a time we're building a large product where we have different constituencies which are in conflict with each other, and we are told to be the ones to solve their problems. And part of the problem is that they're in conflict with each other, and that doesn't come with the territory in the technical development of requirements. So let's talk about what requirements are in this context. What we will refer to requirements is the instrument that we use to breach the semantic gap. The semantic gap is the different context in which technical people work from the business people that are their customers. And the way we interpret things, the way we look at things, the way we use logic is sometimes different in one world and the other. And this gap forces a lot of miscommunication. So requirements and requirements building is the tool that we use in order to build a communication link between the two sides. Requirements management in this context is the way we make sure that all requirements are in place and that the requirements are taken care of throughout the project. Requirements engineering is linked to the elicitation, the modeling, the validation. There is the different schools divided into 3, 4, 5, 6 different activities. But the basic ones are eliciting, modeling, and validating. Now, when I say requirements engineering, requirements management, I'm using this in the context of the common use in the CMMI model. This said, there are some schools in the requirements community that don't have the same definition. For example, there is a group of people that use requirements management in the sense that I've used requirements engineering in this slide, and there is and requirements engineering includes requirements management and the other elements of requirements management that I presented before. So let's talk about why is the requirements gathering a big problem, and also doing it well helps you a lot. This is Lehman's famous V model, and it's being spread out on the slide as we speak, and here comes the V. On the right-hand side of the V, we start with the requirements gathering process, which is translated into a specification, which is translated into code, which is translated into developed components. So there is an acceptance process that goes on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, it's the verification and validation process. The verification starts at when the developed components are ready, and there's a handoff for testing. Not usually the case in most organizations, but it could be done. Unit tests done by somebody else than the programmer. And the system test execution, you could have many iterations of different types of tests within that scope. What's really interesting here is that the translation process that goes on the left-hand side is both more detailed on every step and more formal. So we start at the top left with a very informal and natural language expression of what the product needs to do, and we end at the bottom with something that can be executed by a machine. Those translations involve, therefore, the introduction of noise. Even if there was nothing else and you did have the requirements perfect, you need to validate them because noise could have been introduced throughout that process. So let's cut to the chase, and poor joke. Here's my risk list. I'm going to start with what I found in my career to be the most frequent wrong things tied to requirements. We're talking to the wrong customer, or even if we're talking to the right customer, we get the wrong needs, or if we got one customer, we don't have the whole set of constituencies, and we end up with the wrong product.